This is the MVA Reptile Podcast with Kick and Wolf. But make sure you go to kicksballs.com. They've got balls to the walls.
And that's the type of python. So all of you out there, get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay, this is our first episode of the podcast. Yeah!
Woo! Yeah! All right.
Well, anyway, the main idea of tonight's episode will be the Steel City Reptile Expo, Washington, PA. It was on the 23rd, and it was how was the show? Do you think?
Honestly, pretty slow. They moved to a new location, and
Yep, about maybe, I don't know,
It just
a
seems to be
year
a bit-
ago maybe they moved to a new location. It was pretty good at the old location, but the new location's been pretty slow to start out with.
it's a nicer facility. I will give them that.
It is in the Isoplex of Washington, Pennsylvania,
It's like
and it's pretty nice.
But
You know,
then
it's clean.
They used
I
to have another one in just like pretty much a dirty barn, but it was in
Yeah,
a
the
much
last
more
one,
area
the
for.
old that location was in a dirty barn, but but the crowd was definitely different. The crowd in the new area is, I don't know, it's kind of like more a fancier area. You know, people around there don't really not used to reptiles, I guess.
Cats and dog people.
Yes, just family people.
And then also tonight we're gonna cover a couple articles of different events that are going on and an attack story.
Oh. Well, anyways, at the
See where it goes from there.
for the vendors of the show, there was a lot of crazy boa constrictors. There was lots of blood boas, lots of leopard boas. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. See, personally, I'm not a big fan of snakes in myself, but there was a lot of amazing things there.
Mostly, our table at Case Balls. That was the best, but okay.
I'll tell you one thing: out of any show, it ends up having the most, I guess, variety. Because when you go to a lot of shows, there's usually tables that are just mostly snake tables and chameleon tables and I don't know, Taurus tables and turtle tables. The best, I think, is like with what we have is just a bigger variety, a selection of different animals, and a very well trained staff. If I don't say so myself.
That is true. And remember, go check us out at kicksballs.com. And, you know, we'll be at, you can go on there and see what shows we're going to be at and go and say hi. Maybe get an autograph. You know, it'll be worth millions pretty soon, but you better.
Ask for
Get on
Fred.
Yep.
All right. He loves to have conversations with any customer. Doesn't even have to be on reptiles. It can be on anything at all. He's just loves having separate conversations. All right. So we're going to get here into our first article.
First article, Newts and Salamanders. Now, I would say a newt and salamander, you know, they're pretty common pets. You know, a lot of little kids have them. They're cool. They're cool, fun pets.
Relatively inexpensive. You can get them at like any pet store. Go get yourself, say, a firebelly newt, like what, $5-6 if that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a neat little pet. They're not hard to take care of. It's like I don't know. It's just a good community animal.
But
The big butt right here.
let's see. I got an article here. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has published a final rule in the Federal Register listing 201 salamander newt species as injurious species under the Lacey Act. This listing has will become effective on January 28th, 2016. Today in just 2 days.
2 days from now, after this video will be up, you guys tell this thing will be in effect. So anybody out here is going to be doing newts. Watch yourself.
This listing generally makes it illegal to import live or dead specimens of these amphibians into the United States. Interstate transport of any type is also prohibited. The listing does not prohibit the importation or interstate transport of eggs of these species, nor does it affect the sale and possession of these species within a state. So if you got newts or salamanders and you keep them in your state, you'll be fine.
It's one of those things you can transfer them around your state, but you can't get anything else new in.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Direct export is still allowed from either a designated port or other location with a designated port exception permit. But any export must occur directly from the state where the species are present. So basically you can ship them out of the country from your state, pretty much. But this one's kind of weird. This part is kind of weird. It says the action effective January 28, 2016. It will be legal to import any live or dead specimens. Why live or dead? Like, I understand live, but why not dead?
You know what? I think they're trying to stop a newt zombie invasion right now.
Oh man,
That
I never thought about
newest threat we've heard about that I actually just did not make up was a newt zombie threat. I think that's what they're going at.
Oh. Well, like, what does that even mean? Like, who is someone transporting, like, salamander heads or something?
It's a newt. It's not gonna do anything. They're not gonna take over. Now I see what they're trying to do was freaking stopping and invasive species or things coming in, but it's a newt. It's like the dog version of an aquatic animal. A newt. It's not gonna do anything.
It's not like they eat fish or anything, they're not taking down fish.
They'll eat insects, they'll eat mosquitoes. They'll stop the pesky mosquitoes.
It's not like they're gonna attack children and dogs.
Better watch yourself. I mean, those zombie ones are gonna go crazy. Just watch. Just watch.
Now, I think this is the craziest part of the law. Those caught unlawfully bringing these injured species into the United States or transporting them across state lines on or after this date will face penalties that include up to 6 months in prison and fines as high as $5,000 for individuals or $10,000 for organizations.
Okay.
Wow.
I can see problems with drugs or moving guns or, people who shouldn't be there. Like convicts. But a newt! A newt! Now I can't transport. That means I'm going to be hitchhiking to the side of the road now. Just watch them. Don't you squish my little buddies. They're going to have nowhere to go anymore.
Like, it's just a newt.
Like,
$5,000 for a newt?
I had newts as pets. They're fun. They're just little animals, okay? They're not going to do anything.
Well, I guess they're definitely going to stop the transportation of newts now because $5,000 for a $5 newt?
Tell me right there.
That's insane! 6 months in prison? What are you, like, killing people? What are you, selling drugs? No, it's a newt!
I can just imagine. So we're going to say this guy named Timothy, he goes into jail. They're all sitting there. So, what did you do? Transported a newt. He's going to get beat up! He's not going to have one day. Just, oh no, watch out, big old bad Timothy. He moved a newt. Tell me about that. That is just outrageous.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts.
Alright, guys.
Now, the Lacey Act is pretty much a federal law that prohibits, the transportation of certain animals, and animals constantly keep, like, becoming, or being added to the Lacey Act. I believe the Lacey Act started with certain types of birds, but now it's getting to reptiles and some other animals, too. It seems like every year there's more reptiles that will not be able to see.
I feel like it's more people just being afraid and not understanding, the concept. Like, it's a reptile. I know some of them do look scary. Some of them do, but that's the same to anything.
Preach it, brother!
I mean, you can, it's not like a newt's going to do anything. And, you don't know before then they're going to move to different snakes and different lizards. It's like, okay, some people, you got a lot of people who enjoy keeping those things. So some people, that's like their cat and dog. They've got a bearded dragon and leopard gecko. That's, that's to them, that's what they want. I don't see why they got to keep moving to different things like, reptiles. So, I mean, I know some of them, yeah, they can be venomous, and other ones can do certain things, but for a newt, I guess I can see some of them being endangered.
Like a good example on a thing that's on the Lacey Act
I don't even know
that affected a lot of people would be the Burmese python.
Oh my
now
goodness.
I can kind of
don't get me started.
I can kind of understand the Burmese python. It's a big snake. It's 15 feet long, very strong. But a newt!
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I can't stand this.
Well, Wolf just left the room.
Alright, I'm bad. I'm scared out there.
Okay, he's back now. Okay, he must have saw a newt.
Take a breather.
He must have saw a newt or salamander. He got scared. He came back in.
I gotta get out of here. Too much. Alright, guys. We're gonna move on. We got another article. This is about an attack. This happened to a store owner in northern Kentucky. Alright? Right now, they say he's recovering from a 250-pound python that escaped and was crushing him. And he was saved by a police officer, in a Newport police officer. He said to the police on the report that he was feeding the snake, and Monday, when the 20-foot python attacked, the police chief said that he wasn't breathing, and when the officers were trying to free him, he didn't he assumed breathing before they got him to the ambulance to the hospital. He's better now. He's living good. He's talking more, and he said what happened was he had to grab the snake and uncurled it by grabbing it from the head, and eventually he freed him. So pretty much what happened was, as he was going to feed it, the snake grabbed onto him and wrapped around. Now, what could have happened, I don't know. Now, from experience, I know snakes sometimes miss their food as they're going for it. You dangle a mouse, you can ask this guy right here. We were feeding snakes one day, and he had a mouse, and I went right up there, and he pulled the mouse for it. Snake completely missed it, almost bit me in the face. You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a little corn snake or something. But,
scared me, okay? I'll tell you one thing, I did not sleep a wink that night.
Well, anyways, now this guy who got bit or whatever by the python, my dad, who works at the Kicks Balls table at the reptile shows, actually knew this guy. I guess he goes to the Hamburg Reptile Show, which will be going in a little while. And it must have the snake must have bit him and wrapped around him or something, because that's
But here's what I'm thinking right now, compared to what we're talking about with everything else, with people freaking out. It says here at the bottom, the police are working with the animal control to determine if the python need to be removed from the shop. Now, I can get animals being aggressive, but, this guy is holding, let's say, I don't know, some sort of small animal to feed the snake, and the snake misses and, say, bites onto him. Well, the snake's got a feeding instinct, so honestly, I don't want to call out the snake. I want to say, this might have been just user error, and I don't think the snake should be labeled as aggressive or anything or have to be removed. I think it's just, it was just a mistake, That's a risk to it. And some people like, there's a risk and reward. If you're going into, you get some people who are out right now and they're going into cobra tanks, and they're doing cobra handling, or people wrestling alligators for shows and stuff. They're doing it for a risk. And, there is 100%, risk factor to everything that they're doing, that an animal could react to any instinct that they want, and they could just come out and attack. And you have to be prepared for that kind of thing. And this was just one of those unfortunate events where, just luck wasn't in his favor.
Yeah, but honestly, you can't really, you don't know for 100% what the animal's going to do. You can't really control the animal. I guess you can, but not really. I mean, you can't control its thoughts. It's going to do what it wants to do.
You better watch out. Those mind-controlling zombie newts are on the march.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're going to control our animal.
But watch out for the zombie newts, everyone.
They're going to come. That's why. I knew it. But, as he was saying, you can't control their actions. I mean, you can have this animal from baby on up, and that can happen with anything. Any creature. You could have a dog, a cat, a human, a baby. It could be the nicest kid in the world, nicest animal in the world. And then out of nowhere, one day it just snaps. And that, you can't always control that. But it's not always the animal's fault for that kind of thing. You have to think of just the situation that he was in. Snake's hungry, it has food, and maybe, we don't know what he was doing. He could have been teasing it, for all we know. I mean...
That is true.
When events like this happen. Now, we're not calling him out. We're not saying he did anything wrong. But I'm saying, you don't know the actual story of what happened. I remember feeding the snake the one big rabbit the one time. Snake completely missed. Jumped right out of the cage. We all ran. Because it was a big snake. I think, what was it, a retic, I think?
Reticulated python.
We were feeding it, and the thing jumped. And it's not that it was any of our problems. No, it happened to miss the food as it struck at it. And, that's just,
That's true.
You can't really do anything about it.
For all those people who watch Steve Irwin... He always said that when an animal bit him, it was always his fault, so it was never the animal's fault. And that's true.
You got to take responsibility for your action. It's not... A lot of times you get people who get bit by any animal. Dogs. I like to say dogs, cats, that happens a lot. Most of the time, they're not just going to come out of nowhere. There's a reason that it happens. Because a lot of things are aggressive. It could be that you're agitating them. You're poking them in the face. You're trying to pick them up. They don't like that. You look in the cage, they're nice and calm. You take them out, they're mad because you're grabbing onto them. They don't know what's going on. That's the thing. You got to think about it this way. you're a big thing and they're a little thing. All right? When a
Yes,
big
you
thing goes... Okay. When a big thing goes in to grab a little thing, the little thing's gonna get scared. I mean, why don't you see a mouse attacking a freaking hawk? No, the mouse is little, hawk's big. Hawk's gonna take down the mouse. You know, easy as that. You know, so it's more just instinct. You know, they're not 100%. You know, like know what's going on. They're acting on just what they know and how they know to live.
True.
I mean, that's one of the things though for them to judge, and I'm glad everything's going out okay. He says he's recovering fine. You know, and I don't think he's gonna stop handling reptiles. I think he's gonna keep doing his passion, what he loves, and you know, stuff like this happens. You know?
Well, we're gonna end on that beautiful note. Stuff happens. Check us out. We're gonna in the future we will have you know, like other guests on the show. I guess we'll have a guy talking about venomous snakes and stuff, how to take care of them, what are the risks of that and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah.
So yeah, you can go like, subscribe, show it to your friends, get this down. We're gonna try to make this a nice big thing. We're gonna have a lot of different shows
and remember, if you're check us out on caseballs.com, and if you're in the area of a show we're going to, go to the show and see us.
We're gonna leave you guys with one last. This is our reptile tip of the day.
Reptile tip of the day.
All right, before you go down any animal.
What was that again? What's the reptile tip of the day?
I'm telling them right now.
Come on.
All right, so when you go to buy any animal of any time, do your research.
Know
what you're heading into. You know, don't automatically assume, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a pet. It's just gonna do its own thing. No, do your research. Know what you're getting into. Know how the animal acts, and know what kind of stuff it needs and all that.
It's true. Do your research first. I gotta take care of the animal good, and you gotta know what's gonna harm the animal or not. You know, if you smash the animal with a hammer, it's gonna die. But if you take good care of it, know what you're doing, get all the stuff it needs, do the research, it's gonna live for a long time.
That's the biggest thing I can stress right now, guys, is do your research, know what you're having to, and on that note, we're gonna see you later.
Goodbye.